Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in this video I will be showing you how to cut a lady's flare pants trousers. Okay, just like the one you are seeing in this video, exactly this one that you are seeing right now. I'll be showing you the process of cutting it. Now in the next video that I'll be posting after this one, I'll be showing you how I made this trouser. Alright, so without wasting your time, let's get into the business of the day. Alright, so this is the measurement that we'll be using for the trouser. The waist is 32, hip of 40, laps of 26, then the knee and the ankle is 24, length is 38, then the half length, that's from the waist to the knee, is 23, and then the waist to the hip is 9 inches. The waist to the hips is 9 inches. Alright, so the first thing we are going to do is to face the right side to each other, as you can see in the video. Then mark the wrong side, because we'll be marking on the wrong side. Now first of all, you can see that I've marked out my edges. Okay, so I'll be measuring the length first, which is 38. Yeah, 38, and then I'll be adding 2 inches of the folding allowance, making it 40 in total. 2 inches of folding allowance, making it 40 in total. Now the next thing that we'll be marking out is going to be my lapse point. Remember that the first line that we marked is the waistline. Now the next thing that I'm going to mark is the lapse measurement. Now to get the lapse is the hip divided by 4 inches, by 4 rather, divided into 4, which is 40 divided by 4, and then it's 10. Now I'm adding 1 inches, making it 11, because it's a high waist trouser. So if you are making a regular normal trouser, then you don't need to add 1 inch to it. Now the next thing I'm going to mark is the half length. That's from your waist to the knee, where the knee starts, and that's 23. So I'm also going to mark 23. Okay, as you can see me doing in the video right now. So remember the waist, the hips rather, the flap is the hips divided by 4. That's how we got 10 inches, and then we add 1 inch because it's a high waist trouser, making it 11 inches. Now I'm just going to draw a straight line, join the lines together. It helps the work look neat, and you understand. So I'm just going to join the lines together. Okay, so now this is the waistline, this is the waist, this is the laps, the knee and the ankle. So now we've gotten the 4 major lines of a plain trouser. Now we are going to divide the laps into 2. The laps is divided into 2. Now the laps is 28. So 28 divided by 2 inches is going to be 14. So we're just going to add that. So mark 14 inches. Now before we place our knee and ankle, we are going to identify the center line. Alright, so the center line is 7 inches. Remember the laps is 28. 28 divided by 2 is 14. Now to get the center line, 14 divided by 2 is 7. Just so we get a straight line here. Hope you are following. Then this is the center line, and how we got the center line is dividing the laps into 2. You understand? The laps is 14, so we divide it into 2, making it 7. That's how we got the center line. Now we are going to place the knee measurement and the ankle measurement on the center. Hope you understand. So the knee measurement is 26. 26 divided by 2 is going to give us 13. Now we are going to make sure that the 13 is at the center of this line. You understand? That's simply what I'm doing here. Instead of marking from the end point, I'm starting and placing it at the center of the line. Okay, so now I'm going to join the dots. Now the purpose of using the center line method is to give it a curve. Okay. So I'm just going to join the lines together. As simple as that. So now you're done with the knee, the laps, the knee and the ankle. So let us focus on the waistline and the hips line. Alright, now so to get the hips line, remember that we have our waistline and the laps line there. Then to get the hips line, from your waist to your hips, we measured 9 inches. But now I'm not going to mark 9 inches. Alright, so I'm going to remove 1 inches from it. I'm going to mark 8 inches rather. Now the reason being that I'm going to add a waistband to it. Okay, so I'm still going to add a waistband to it. So now I'm minusing 1 inches from the waist to the hip point that we measured when we are measuring the trouser, and it's 9 inches. Okay, so now that's how we got our hips line. So this is the point where we are going to place our hips measurement, which is 40 divided by 4, and then it's 10 inches. So we are just going to mark 10 here. Then I'm also going to mark 10 on the waist, just so I can get a straight line here. I'm also marking 10 on the laps line. Alright, now the purpose for this is just to get a straight line here, so that we can do our flap curve and the waist measurement. Alright, so we have a straight line here. Now you have to pay attention to this. I'm now going to mark 1.5 inches from this point. Hope you can see that. Now I'm going to make a curve from the laps line and stop at the hips line. It's as simple as that. From the laps line, you stop at the hips line. Now we are going to measure the waist. We are going to place the waist measurement, and the next thing is to cut it out. Now the waist is 32 inches. 32 inches divided by 4 is going to give us 8 inches. 32 divided by 4 is 8 inches. So to get, since we have 10 inches here, I'm just going to minus 1 inch from both sides. Okay, yeah, so now we're just going to mark our curve from the waistline down to the hips line, and that's all. Hope you understand. So you're marking from the hips line to the waistline, and then you're going to do this for this other side also. You're marking from the hips line to the waistline. It's as simple as that. 8 inches. Remember, 8 inches. Here is 10 inches because it's 40, and the last is 14, making it 24. And at this point it's 13, making it 26. Now the knee and the ankle is the same measurement. So the next thing is to cut it out. Alright, so the next thing you're going to do is to cut the back of the fabric. Okay, so the difference between the front and the back is, if you notice, we did not add any allowance to the front of the trouser which we just finished cutting. From the measurement, you notice that what we did was exactly what we measured. So now the difference is that we are going to add an additional 2 inches to the back, which serves as the sewing allowance. So what I'm doing here is I'm extending the lines of the waist, of the laps, the knee and the ankle. Now we are going to measure an additional 2 inches, which is going to serve as the sewing allowance. Okay, now that's basically the difference between the front and the back. For those that noticed, there was no sewing allowance to the front, so we add the sewing allowance to the back. Alright, yeah, so I usually use a freehand curve here to still give me 2 inches. It can be bigger to maybe 2.5, as the case may be. So at this point I'm going to go up by 2 inches because it's a ladies trouser. Or can go as low, we can still do it 1.5 inches, which is what I did here. You can still do 1.5 inches and then slant it just as I'm doing in this video. But the point is, the back side is going to be higher than the front side, just for the purpose of covering the hips properly. That's the main reason why we get the back is usually higher than the front. Okay, this is like the major difference between the men's trousers and the ladies trousers. The men's trousers usually get high, but not as high as 2 inches or 1.5 inches. So what we are doing is just to cut out the extras. Yeah, so this is basically how to cut a female flare trouser, and in my next video I'll be showing you how to stitch it, every process of making a female trouser. Thanks for watching. Like, share, comment, and I'll see you in the next video.